COVID-19 pandemic is particularly difficult for families who have loved ones living in assisted living environments. Jim Jennings, a board member for the Florida Assisted Living Association, is here to help families understand how assisted living facilities are responding to the current crisis. Jim, welcome.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Well, I want to start with communication. How are the management teams at facilities staying in touch with families in the midst of this crisis?
Well, that's a good question, Clarence, and there are several ways. You know, that old cliche, communication. We're doing that through social media. You know, we're doing that via text messaging. My team, my staff, we put something out every day, you know, because we want to, over communicate with the families. And I think the families, from the reactions that I've been receiving from them, have been extremely positive. They appreciate all the communication and the open lines of communication between the families. So it's been received very well.
And speaking of communication, how do the families stay in touch with their loved ones who are in ALFs?
Well, I would say 95% of the residents that are living in our assisted livings have cell phones now. And now there are some that have the landlines. We've also started implementing Skype. You know, so between the social media, the Facebook Live, the Skypes, the cell phones, the landlines, there's been a lot of communication between the families and their loved ones, which is extremely important these days.
Let's talk about some of the precautions that ALFs are taking at the facility to keep the residents healthy.
Yes.
What's happening there?
Well, some of the things that we're doing, we're screening every staff member. We have 3 different shifts, and we're screening every staff member, taking temperatures. We're taking temperatures of residents. We're trying to stay ahead of things, so that way, if we're starting to notice, and we keep it logged in, so if we start to notice a trend that maybe a temperature, whether it's a staff, whether it's a resident, is starting to increase, then we could take proactive measures.
Are the facilities also restricting like packages or gifts that you might be sending, just, sort of a gift basket or something?
Yeah. No, we're not restricting that. However, we are restricting the access of that, meaning that if a loved one wants to bring in a gift, they can do that, but they have to leave it at the front door. So that way, we're trying to keep everyone safe. So staff member goes out, they collect that gift, and then they bring it in, and then we're able to give that to their loved ones.
And if I have a family member in an ALF, how will I be notified that some of the residents or even some of the staff have become ill?
Well, and that's a good question. And I tell you, in today's environment, a lot of time, because there's so much communication, probably families are going to get that word before the management team does, because still the open lines with the landlines and cell phones. However, once we determine that somebody may be infected, we immediately start going into our proactive measures and basically tighten that belt loop a little bit more. We certainly don't want to keep anything from families, because it's important to communicate, but that's why I said earlier, communicate, and then take proactive measures to isolate the incident.
Well, Jim, thank you for being with us and letting us know how ALFs are helping to keep our loved ones safe. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Clarence.
And we've got lots more segments like this coming up. Stay with us.